do you feel like the Lakers are on the rise? And based on what we saw on Twitter and around the NBA and players reacting, I feel like the Lakers are gaining a lot of momentum and respect. Are the LA Lakers the most feared team in the NBA?
Yeah, right now they are. I think, they've been going through this process where they've been trying to, as the saying goes, you've been trying to get your swagger back. And I think that finally happened last night where, you have this Laker team that has these stars but has been dealing with all these injuries in the regular season, had to go through the play-in tournament and do all this extra stuff to get to the postseason, and now is finally here. And I think that it's really unfortunate for the Suns and Devin Booker because I think this Laker team is waking up. I think this Laker team is getting back to who they were in the bubble last year, despite LeBron's injury management or whatever's going on with him. And I think last night, what I saw was just domination, both mentally and physically in the second half. You don't see guys like Devin Booker or Chris Paul or their mainstays on that team committing those types of fouls too often. And that specifically the Book foul I felt like was a foul out of frustration, not just on the play itself, but throughout the game and the way it was going. And that tells me that the Suns were beat mentally. The Lakers had said, hey, we're bigger, we're controlling this game, we're dictating to you, and you're just going to have to deal with it. And I felt like the frustration kind of built. And so, yeah, are the Lakers the most feared team in the league? Yes, they are, because they're bigger than you, they're stronger than you, and they are a really intelligent team. And I think their championship aspirations pretty much solely rely on Anthony Davis not being soft in terms of how he plays the game. When he's attacking the basket like last night, when he's getting after it and forcing his will, they're the best team in the league. It's when Anthony Davis settles for the 15-footer and wants to play soft that all of a sudden they start having problems. So I would expect that moving forward, last night's performance is what you will see out of this team, pretty consistently.
Yeah, and I think one of the more interesting talking points, and you talk about AD and being soft and how he plays the game, I think one of the more interesting theories on the Lakers is that they have to play small to win big, right? I totally agree with that. I think it's very interesting the way that Frank Vogel used his rotations in the first half. I thought they were trash. Marc Gasol, with all due respect, I just don't see how he has a place in this series.
Yeah.
Everything kind of plods and gets methodical for the Lakers when he's in. I think you have to run a lineup that basically is LeBron and AD and three guards. I think Kyle Kuzma is struggling mightily. Now, having said that, Dennis Schroeder, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, they missed so many open threes when LeBron was driving and kicking in that first half. I think you have to play small, and you got to make your threes, because when you play small like that, it allows you to create turnovers. You're certainly better defensively, and you get out on the break. And, Jake, I think when the Lakers are running the floor, they're absolutely lethal.
Yeah, they're incredibly difficult to stop, again, because of the size. So, even if you do get, let's say you get three guys back, to defend your basket, you're still going to have a tough time because guys like KCP understand their role, and they understand that their job in the transition is to get onto the wing and wait for that pass and knock it down when you get your opportunities. So, yeah, I think, it's really interesting. We went to, you guys all remember that Nuggets-Jazz game, towards the end of the regular season where Bogey goes off for like 48 points or whatever it was. During that game, when we were watching it, Michael Malone. Michael. It's Michael, please. Michael Malone had a lot of interesting rotations. Interesting in a bad way, to put it nicely. And I felt like last night, Vogel was doing kind of that same thing. I felt like, first it was kind of weird how he was handling it, and then it became clear that LeBron was dealing with something injury-wise. And then I was just like, you know what? Like, if you're Frank Vogel, why are you going to play LeBron James more minutes than you have to? You're still early in the postseason. You've got this game in control. Bring him back for shorter stints. Keep him, a little bit loose, and you're fine. So, overall, I just feel like the Lakers, when you're on a LeBron James-led team, mentally you should be pretty locked in. And I feel like now they finally showed up, and this is who they really are.
Well, I also think LeBron James is not 100%. I mean, and I obviously I am being the master of the obvious on this, but LeBron James, to me, does not look like the explosive rim wrecker, the guy that wants to get out on the break, the guy that wants to attack you defensively. Something's not right with LeBron. And whether it's the leg, whether it's the back, whether it's whatever it is, whether it's father time remaining undefeated, I don't know. Something's not right with LeBron. And the reason I say that is he is really, really hesitant. You can see that there are lanes for him to attack the basket. Yes, yet he's going to try and force a pass and turn it over repeatedly in the second and third quarter.
Yeah.
You're seeing a guy who has the opportunity to go into the paint and get fouled, not wanting to do that. And that tells me that this is LeBron not at his level best. And I think that's going to have to change. If the Lakers are truly to be feared and respected as a Western Finals conference contender, that's going to have to change. And it probably does not matter who they run into, Denver or Portland. I think the Lakers are better than both of those teams. But LeBron's got to get right.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to put a finger on exactly what that is, but he just doesn't seem to be.
It's not 100%.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be that guy.
Yeah, he's not the, he's not the LeBron, he's not the dominant force that we've all come to know and love. And this is what I told you guys when that high ankle sprain where, he almost breaks his leg weeks and weeks ago now. I told you guys when it happened the next day that this is going to be really difficult for him to recover from, at his age, even with all the money that he's got in that body, even with how elite athletically he is, there comes a point in every athlete's career where, where your dog decides to leave the set, bro.
Jake, what is going on here? What is going on here with your boy?
What's happening here, dog?
What is the situation?
Dude, bro, you're not supposed to get on the show here, bro.
He is he is adrift here. That's our guy Django, by the way, now that Jake lets him go. But yeah, I think there's a lot of conversation around whether or not this is a team that you can really, the Lakers are a team that you can reliably say is an NBA Finals contender.
Yeah.
And, I ask myself, okay, well, who are the best teams in the NBA? Like, who are the teams that you really feel like can win a championship? In the West, obviously, it's the Utah Jazz. You feel like, especially with Don being back, we're going to talk about, previewing Game 3 here in a minute, but if they make some tweaks and adjustments, the Jazz are unquestionably one of the best teams in the NBA.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you make of this Portland-Denver Nuggets series? Because it's shocking to me, and I don't know why. They've been terrible defensively all year. Portland can't stop your mom. It's unbelievable how bad Portland is defensively.
Yeah.
And Terry Stotts, give him a 25-year extension for $80 million a season. If I'm the Portland Trailblazers, am I not looking to find a coach who can actually figure out how to stop somebody?
Yeah, I think this Blazers Nuggets series is the classic series of two teams that have pretty much no chance of winning an NBA championship. These are two teams that are short for one reason or another, whether it's injuries or roster build. And I just think that these two teams are going to have the opportunity to ruin someone's season. So whether that's the Lakers or whatever, that's the role that they're going to play. And if you're Portland, no, I'm not bringing Terry Stotts back. I think that this organization has been wasting Dame's career for how many years now?
Ooh.
And I think
wow.
I think it goes both ways. I think, and this would apply to Devin Booker as well if things don't work out here in the near future. You can't say, hey, I'm one of the best point guards in the league, but then get bounced in the first round every year, which is what's going to happen, it looks like.
Well, and it's what's been happening.
Yeah.
This has been a disappointing team outside of a few Dame unbelievable moments. This has been a disappointing team, and I think that I don't know that you can improve that. I think with the group that they have, and I love C.J. McCollum, but, is he a legit number 2 for a guy like Damian Lillard?
No, I think Dame needs a little bit more. I think and I don't want this to come off as a criticism of Dame, but Dame is not like LeBron or Kevin Durant or on that level, right? Where
he's got to bring in your slurpification.
Well, yeah, because I think that if we're talking about their roster management, we got to sit here and say, hey, C.J. McCollum would be a great number 2 to LeBron or KD or whoever, any of the alpha guys in the league. But I don't think that Dame is good enough to only have CJ as his second guy. And then on defense, it's brutal. They don't play good team defense. We saw them in person against the Jazz. The Jazz had them running all over the floor with the ball movement. They just don't have the chemistry. They don't have the it factor that kind of like brings them together and allows them to play great team defense. And they're big in Nurk is not anything to write home about.
Yeah, he fouled out last night. A lot of people commenting on that. Let's see. Where do we start with this? Ricky Martinez says, no, the Lakers aren't the most feared. It's the Nets. Well, that could be. That's a very good point. I wouldn't disagree with that. Brylark says, morning, boys. Morning to you. Driftwood says, Nets. Cody Strickland says, Luca's mom has it going on. She's all I want. I've waited so long.
Okay, the fact that you have him singing is an accomplishment. Well
Luca
done.
can't see. Luca, can't you see? You're just not the player for me. I know it might be wrong, but I'm in love with Luca's mom. If you haven't Google searched Luka Doncic's mother, I mean, you're just not living as a man. You may have a lack of testosterone in your body.
Yeah,
seriously.
Low T.
Low. Yeah, a low T reference on the program. Driftwood says, "Do we really believe LeBron and AD will make it to the Western Conference Finals without injury?" Anybody notice AD hyperextend that knee last night, landing on that shot block? My goodness, that was ugly. Cody Strickland says, "Now let's talk about the ninth." The Suns run. The end of the Suns run? The end of the Suns run. Lakers heating up the frying pan and cooking some Suns. Bro, what are you on right now?
Wet like I'm booked.
I was hoping an early knockout on the Lakers and Trailblazers upset in the second round. Well, yeah, sorry, bud. Not going to happen. Brylark says, did you guys see Dame complaining about the refs? He said bigs get picked on a lot by the refs. I mean, I don't disagree with that.
The nature of the beast.
It is. Brylark says major dog alert.
Major dog alert. Wow.
See what you dog alert there? You know.
Yeah.
Cody Strickland says, hey, Jake, that's your replacement.
Yeah. He was trying out. He was just kind of, he was interning for the day.
Yeah, Jake was making sure that didn't happen. Portland has refused to surround Dame with quality talent. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Austin Parkin says, haven't seen any news, but do you think Brooks gets suspended a game for the flagrant 2 in game 3?
Book.
You mean Book?
Yeah, he meant Book.
I don't think Book gets suspended. I actually don't think it was a flagrant 2. That shove on Schroeder, Dennis Schroeder embellished that quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that that's a suspendable offense.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I mean, the rule is in the postseason, every point in terms of flagrants, every point after 3, I believe it is, warrants a suspension. So, he's not even in a place where point-wise he's, in that territory yet.
Totally agree.
So, I agree with you. I don't think in the postseason that should be a flagrant 2. Is it a basketball play? No, it's not. Did he take him to the woodshed? No, he didn't.
No.
I mean, he pushed him. It wasn't like Schroeder was in any danger of injury, so I disagreed with the flagrant 2 as well.
All right, let's get into the Utah Jazz. They have a big game tomorrow night in Memphis. Obviously, with Game 3, you guys want to go ahead and subscribe to this channel so that you can win a 50-inch TV to watch Game 4 on.
What's it like having that in your living room?
It's a drag. Can we please get to 1,000 subscribers?
Yeah, come on, get it going here.
I can get rid of this thing, because it's taking up space. I'm pulling up my YouTube Creators app to let you know that we are at 849.
Okay.
Picked up 6 subscribers overnight.
150 to go.
150. Well, if you do some
okay,
math,
151. Jesus. Jesus can't help you either.
Yeah, pull out the abacus.
Yeah.
Well, Jesus.
God bless.
Jesus already subscribed. So.
Oh, right.
He
My
knows
bad.
a good podcast when.
What
he
about
hears it.
Joseph?
Okay, stop. Now you're pissing people off. We have 151 subscribers to go. When we get to 1,000, we are going to give away a 50-inch TV with 1 year of Disney Plus streaming for your watchification. All you have to do is subscribe to this channel, take a picture of your subscription, put it on Twitter or Instagram, but you must tag both Jake at SLC Supercars and myself, The Monty Show. So tag the Monty Show, SLC Supercars, and a picture of you being subscribed, and we're going to give you a 50-inch TV and a year of Disney Plus. All we have to do is the names are in the Tupperware over there.
Yep.
Every time we get a subscriber, we put the name in the thing. If you already did that, knock yourself out. Don't do it again unless you really want to. Your name's already in the bowl, and we're going to draw a winner. And a lot of people were asking me, "Oh, are you going to give away more merch?" Well, the new graphics are in for our clothing line.
Let's go.
So, and you're going to see a rebrand on the radio show as well. So we have a lot of
direction.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we need an extra long pant leg on those joggers that we have in our clothing line.
Joggers.
So joggers, not joggers. It's
They're
joggers.
joggers, bro.
Game 3, Jazz and the Memphis Grizzlies in Memphis, Grind City.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Jazz in this series. I think they're going to sweep. It was interesting listening to the great Tony Jones, who was on ESPN 700 in Salt Lake with Spence Checketts yesterday, agreeing with us that the Jazz really don't play any defense in the paint. And they're going to have to figure it out. And I think we've talked about that a lot. And now you're starting to hear the rest of the media pick up on the fact that the Jazz are in reputation a great defensive team.
Mm-hmm.
But depending on who's on the other end of the court, they're not very good defensively. And when that team has young, aggressive guards, those guards tend to get in the paint and they wreak havoc. And I think we're seeing that against Memphis. Ja Morant certainly did that in both Game 1 and 2. Dylan Brooks had his way in Game 1 with 30-plus points. The question is, what adjustments will Quinn Snyder make? My guess is that you're going to play a lot more zone, and you're going to force the Memphis Grizzlies to beat you with 3 balls, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the adjustment. But I think that, for the Jazz, your goal should be to win out in this series. You want to get through these guys as fast as possible, and get some rest before the next series. But I think my opinion has always been that going back to Memphis, you're not winning both in Memphis. I think you're probably splitting in Memphis, and then
I would agree.
You're going to finish the series here in Salt Lake.
No. Wait. I'm confused. I thought you said you're saying that the Jazz would lose a game in this series?
Yes, no. I think they will lose a game in Memphis.
No. I mean, listen, I think I've raised you well.
No,
right? Like
no.
I've
there are some serious questions.
I have been a bad to mediocre father, right?
Hey, look here, man.
But the one thing I've always told you is do not smoke mind-altering drugs when you first wake up in the morning.
Oh, he don't know nothing.
Right?
Yeah.
And what I do know nothing is that you're high if you think the Jazz are going to lose a game in this series.
Okay.
If the Jazz lose another game in this series, that would be concerning. Like majorly concerning.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we're just a little bit different. I don't think that the Grizzlies are as let me put it this way. I don't think the Jazz are as over the top good as you're making it out to be. Like I think Game 2 was it's the Donovan's returning to basketball show. So they had a ton of energy, they were at home. You would expect them to win that game comfortably, But going back to Memphis, Don. Now we need to see what that ankle is like after playing a full game. Number one, and I think he'll be fine, but we need to see still. And then number 2, yeah, you're on the road. You're definitely going to be in a hostile environment. The Grizzlies you would think are going to play a lot better than they did in Game 2 because they did not play well in Game 2. And I'm just telling you, I don't think you're shooting, again, 50% from 3 on the road in Memphis. I don't think that they're going to allow you to do that, frankly.
What is this? Is this 2-3-2 or 2-2-1?
I believe it's 2-2-1-1-1.
Yeah. So you're going to win the next 2 Saturday, and then you play every other day. So Saturday,
right.
Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I think you come home. What would that be? Wednesday. I think you close out at home on Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll see, dude. I don't think that happens. I think that they will split in Memphis.
Okay, so give me what that looks like. If Memphis is going to win a game.
What it looks like is Rudy Gobert loses his composure with the officiating and gets in foul trouble. Donovan Mitchell has an off shooting night. Bogdanovich has an off shooting night. Overall, it's really simple, frankly. And you can go back and look at the game logs. The Jazz tend to be a team that go out, shoot really poorly, then bounce back and shoot really at a really elite level, and then it evens out a little bit in that following game, which would be Game 3. So they're not going to shoot 50% from 3 in Game 3. I think they're probably going to be in the 30s somewhere. That's honestly where I think they'll be. They'll be like 35 to 38%, somewhere in there. They'll shoot good, but not great by their standards. And I do think that Rudy Gobert specifically is going to lose his composure in game 3, and there's going to be a whole shebang about officiating. And it'll be a big deal, as it always is. And I think that the Grizzlies are going to get to the line a lot. I think Ja's going to have 30-plus at least. And I think that's what it looks like for them.
Yeah, my feeling is that this Jazz team is superior to Memphis. I think the one thing, I just need to see them stop Memphis in the paint. And I don't know that happens because I just don't see that the Jazz are athletic enough on the perimeter. Their wing players are not able to stay in front of guys like John Morant and Dillon Brooks. But I think that the real issue here is officiating and Rudy staying out of foul trouble. I would agree with that. I think that's a very important point. If Rudy stays out of foul trouble, I just don't see any way that Memphis is equipped to win this game, to win this series, to win another game in this series, because the way that Valanciunas plays when Rudy's out of the game, and if Rudy's in foul trouble, that generally is going to mean that Valanciunas is not. And if he's not, Jaren Jackson Jr. is probably not.
Yep.
I mean, it's a trickle-down effect. But the Jazz, without Rudy Gobert in the game, have no hope of it stopping anything at the rim.
Right.
Because with all due respect to Derek Favors, he has moments, but he's not consistently an elite defender.
Right.
So, and this has kind of been my beef with Royce O'Neal, right? Royce is this guy that everybody talks about being an elite defender. He has not been that in this series. And Royce is going to have to really step up and play legit one-on-one, man-to-man defense. Because I think you're asking a lot of anybody to stand in front of John Morant and stop them. So the other guys cannot get off. I mean, Dillon Brooks cannot get loose.
Yeah.
You just can't have that. And I think that a lot of that is predicated on Don, and really I think Royce O'Neal has to be a big part of what improves about this defense.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And you know, obviously you would reference the Tony Jones interview yesterday. Tony made that exact point as well, that the defense the Jazz have rolled out has been not good. It's not been good. And I think that when you're on the road, you know, I think starting the game, your priority is, to protect the paint defensively and force them to beat you from the outside. So I guess, that's probably where most of the game will be decided. Because if they can get into the paint, you're going to be in foul trouble.
Yes.
You know, if you can keep them out of the paint for the most part, you should be in good shape. So
yeah, it will certainly be interesting. And the other thing that I think we have to talk about is Jordan Clarkson. I mean, he is rather hot and cold, and I think his role and his dynamic changes with Don back. And so I would assume his opportunity would go down because there's not enough basketball to go around for all of these guys. If you're getting big contributions out of guys like Joe Ingles, Donovan Mitchell, I mean, there's obviously and naturally there's going to be fewer touches for a guy like Jordan Clarkson. So it'll be interesting to see how all of that plays out.
Yeah.
But again, the least of my worries is offensive rotations. The biggest of my worries with the Jazz is controlling points in the paint.
Yeah.
Because they just have not been able to do that.
And I think the defense, too, doesn't bode well for them later in the postseason because I think that what they need to do here, what needs to happen is they need to use this series to get right defensively. Like they need to at some point, whether it's this game or game 4, they need to show that, hey, we're going to dominate this team on the defensive end and keep them, like 100 to 105 points, somewhere in there. And if they do that and they have the offense going, I mean, that's going to be championship material.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are on the Nets bandwagon, by the way. A lot of people are saying the Nets are the most feared team in the NBA.
I think the one thing
that
worries me about the Nets, it has nothing to do with talent. Obviously, they got plenty of that. The one thing that worries me about the Nets is that the Lakers have, postseason experience. They have the hey, we're going through the bubble. We're going through a lot of adversity.
Easy and obvious chemistry on the Lakers.
Yeah.
It is. You can see it with the lobs to AD last night. You can see that. I mean, their bench guys are comfortable in their roles.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist on the Nets right now. Now, every game they play and those big three play together, I mean, they get a little bit better. So by the time you would see them in the Eastern Finals or the NBA Finals, yeah, sure, I would assume that Brooklyn's going to be a much better team. But I think right now a lot of people believe that they're just by default going to going to win the championship. And I don't think it's that simple.
No,
I
it
think
never is.
Yeah, I think when you put teams together and they play through it, like look at the Heat. The Heat didn't win right out of the gate when they had LeBron and Wade. They didn't, right? And I think when you have teams that you put together, there is a learning curve.
Yeah.
And again, I can only point out so many times that learning curve isn't flattened during the regular season.
Right.
Your reaction time and your ability to grow together during the playoffs is when you determine what kind of team you are. And when you have guys that haven't played together and you're asking them to come together as a group to start the playoffs, I think when you get in real crunch moments, and the Nets certainly are not there against the Celtics, I can tell you that. I think when you get into real crunch moments like that, I think you're looking for trouble. And I look at the bracket, they're going to run into the Milwaukee Bucks because, frankly, Bam Adebayo has been one of the biggest disappointments.
Dude, what a joke of a series, honestly. Like
Man.
This is one that I couldn't have got more wrong, man. Like I can't for the life of me believe that Bam has played as poorly as he's played.
Man.
I can't believe that the Heat, just as a unit, you want to talk about a team that's battle-tested? Like the Heat are one of those teams, like the Lakers, that had big-time success in the bubble, obviously with the finals appearance. Like, you would have thought that, okay, yeah, sure, Milwaukee got a little bit better by adding Holiday, but largely, they're the same team.
This isn't about the Bucks.
Yeah, like this is about the Miami Heat just not showing up. I mean, you're talking about losing games in the NBA in the postseason by 30 points. Like,
but
come on.
You can't rely on guys like Goran Dragic, Tyler Hero.
There's no doubt there's a short of talent on their team, but I'm just saying in that starting five, like their team is largely the same as what it was last year.
Yeah.
And yet you're losing by 30.
But
dude.
their rotations are totally different. Goran Dragic, if you remember, was hurt last year, so he wasn't playing heavy full minutes. I'm just not a Dragic guy.
Me either.
Anyway, here nor there, the Nets are going to see the Bucks.
Yeah.
That's going to be a hell of a series.
Yeah.
Because the Nets are built to beat the Bucks. They have the defense. I don't think Giannis is a problem.
They have the overwhelming firepower to put the Bucks where they need to put
them. They absolutely do. Cody Strickland says, "Why are you guys talking about the Jazz? You don't even watch basketball." True.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. I mean, I know I don't have a Donovan Mitchell jersey on my back right now. Like, we're not Jazz people.
Yeah,
so.
take note. Brylark says a healthy Jazz and a full minute Don means the Jazz won't lose another game in this series.
I would like to say that, but here's my issue. I honestly, I would love to say that, but my issue just is that you gave up, what did they give up, 130 something, or what was it, 120 something to the Memphis Grizzlies, dude? Like, I just think that this series looks very different in Memphis than it does in Utah. And I only say that because in Game 2, early in the game, Memphis is in foul trouble, so they can't get the ball going, and Donovan Mitchell's back. So you have all this momentum swinging your way. And you go on and win that game, even though, and nobody's talking about this, Memphis reeled the Jazz in. Are we just going to skip over that? Memphis was down 20 and reeled the Jazz in while the Jazz starters were out there, dude. So I don't want to hear that the Jazz are just outright better all the time over the Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies are a gritty-ass team that don't care about taking it to you physically to overcome their lack of talent in this series. And I'm just telling you, if you get down, 15 on the road in Memphis, I don't know that you have enough to come back.
How does that even happen?
Well, you're sitting here saying how that even happens. How it happens is they shoot 20% from three. Rudy gets into foul trouble. Dylan Brooks is going for 30, and Ja's going for 40.
Yeah, but they're a different. This Utah Jazz team is a different team with Don on the floor.
Well, we'll see. They were a different team for one game.
They have multiple, they have multiple ways to score when Donovan Mitchell's on the floor.
Yeah.
You can legitimately every time down drive and kick. You can attack. I don't see it happening. Cody says you two should place a bet on the Jazz losing to Memphis, a steak dinner. Yeah, Jake won't do it. Jake's too scared.
I'm just too busy spending thousands on the show, so
okay,
it's fine.
Austin Parkin says recipe for the Jazz losing: Clarkson running up to the 3-point line with 18 seconds left on the shot clock and chucking up threes. Well, that's going to happen. If they shoot 38% from three, they win. Okay. Cody Strickland, check the history. The Jazz have lights out games, and The following game, they suck really bad.
Yeah.
True. John Mulvaney, 0 of 8 threes magic number. Yeah, I mean, if you can't shoot threes, you're not going to win in this league. Dante May says, Austin, those are our cleanest looks. Yeah, I guess Jordan Clarkson with 18 seconds on the shot clock. Sure, if that's what floats your boat. By the way, how many times is Memphis going to allow the Jazz to roll the ball up the floor like that? If I'm Memphis, I'm picking up full court.
Yeah.
I'm not giving Jordan or Conley a free look at all.
Bro, if I'm Ja Morant playing Mike Conley, I'm pushing him. Like physically, I'm pushing him. I'm younger. I'm faster. I have more. Being that he is younger, he's got less miles on his body, obviously, than Mike Conley. I would be dogging him the whole game.
Yeah, Austin says you're way too hard on Royce. Dude was doing all the hustle plays in game 2. The problem is those are great plays, and they're meaningful. The Utah Jazz need him to lock guys down. That's his job. That's what got him the contract extension. Lock asses down. And Royce hasn't been doing that.
Well, nobody's
we'll see tomorrow night.
I think, and Tony said this in his interview as well, and I think everybody agrees, nobody's locking Ja Morant down. I don't think that.
It's not Ja Morant, though.
Well, who do you want him to lock down, though? Like
guys like Dillon Brooks. You cannot, I'm telling you, Dillon Brooks is the motor on that team.
Yeah.
And Ja may be the fuel for the motor, but right now, if you stop Dillon Brooks, the Memphis Grizzlies are going to have a tough time competing.
Yeah,
because he is really important to them.
Yeah.
Brylark says, I thought Royce had a great game too. The problem is you need that Royce through the entire playoffs, which you probably won't get. Not probably, you won't get that. And I don't think he was great defensively in game 2. That's just me. Lewis Selder says, a win is a win is a win is a win. Amen to that. Sean Mierzinski, good morning, says, morning, guys. It's been a few days. You guys are still growing quickly. Well, when you're elite and you're good looking, a rack attack. Yeah, Luca's mom loves me.
Yeah.
Like she's begging.
She's making things possible.
She's not, actually.
My bad. Sorry.
Anyway. Driftwood says, she knows I have a major bag. Driftwood says, Jazz will try to control Ja and lock down everyone else. Grizzlies will be lucky to score 110 again, even if Morant scores 80.
Yeah, I think you're being,
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Tuesday's going to be a great show.
Don't know about that. Austin Parkins says, we need an answer to Valanciunas, too. We saw in game 2 that Favors flat out can't guard him, and he's noticeably tired. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, see, you guys are money on this. I think this is what I love about this show, and a lot of people ask me, hey, if you're not making money on the show, why are you doing it? Well, because we're going to make money on it again. We were making racks before the pandemic.
We were close to 5 figures a month on this show. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, we were. We were very close to that. So and the other thing is, Jazz basketball there's a passion behind that. And I think when you look at the way that Jazz fans interact with the show, and we have a lot of Laker fans, a lot of Suns fans. Good morning, Gabe Ledley. He says, morning, fellas. Morning, Gabe.
We have Clipper fan that's losing their mind.
Well, their one fan is losing his mind. By the way,
who the f*** is that guy?
Anybody notice that the Lakers signed a 20-year extension at Staples Center yesterday?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere until I think their lease extends through 2041.
Okay. Is LeBron still going to be playing then?
I don't know. Bronny will. Does Bronny ever make it to the NBA?
Yes.
You think he does?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll see. Would Austin Rivers have helped the Jazz? Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Anybody notice Austin Rivers for the Nugs last night? I mean, making big threes and shooting a high clip from 3. No, I'm not going back to what the Jazz should have done. The Jazz are the best team in the NBA. The Jazz are the best team in the NBA right now. There's no reason to go there.
You want to?
No, I don't want to. I don't. I've never made love to a man. And no, I don't want to. That's one of the greatest drop movies ever.
Oh, my God.
By the way, that's from Bad Boys 2. When Reggie's... What's
wrong with you?
Motherfucker, you look 30. When Reggie's at the front door to take out his daughter. Who
the f*** are you?
That's his... I love that. Oh, I love that. John Mulvaney says, Austin effing Rivers. James Knight. Oh, good morning, James. Good to see you. He says, Jingles looks better on the wing, as you pointed out numerous times, Monty. Well, When he said Joe is a fantastic sixth man.
Yes.
Just a fantastic
Complimentary player. He's
bring
an
him off the
elite
bench.
complimentary player.
He'll try to hit him in the face with the basketball, because when you do, he's going to make the three.
His shot is just so interesting to me. Like
he catches it up here.
he just goes straight up with it.
Love it.
Most guys can't do that.
Love it. I think it is. Yeah, I think it's money, and yeah, I do think that Austin Rivers is about as good as you could ask for, trying to replace a guy like Jamal Murray's production.
Yeah.
Shooting that three, he's lethal. And again, I just think now they have two guys that they can count on to score in Jokic and MPJ.
Yeah.
They just need complementary production.
Yeah.
And I think their biggest issue is you continue to be without your best guards. Will Barton's absence from that lineup,
It's killing him.
it's killing him. It's absolutely killing him.
Now they're playing Portland, so it's not killing them, but
It will kill them as these series go on.
yeah.
I mean, the Lakers are a problem for Denver.
They're a problem for everybody, bro.
Yeah. Well, that's why I say there's not a matchup the Lakers can't get into.
Yeah.
With the bench flexibility, there's not a lineup that they can't handle.
This league deserves a Lakers-Nets NBA Finals.
No, this league deserves, in my opinion, a Lakers Jazz Western Conference Finals.
Well, yeah, for sure.
To me, that's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
That is absolutely as good as it gets. Why is Rivers traded so often, Mulvaney says? Because he's not a number one, and he's not really a number two. But when you put him in big moments, he tends to perform.
Yeah, he has no problem taking the big shot.
Yeah.
No problem taking it.
Well, and part of his traded so often is that he played for his dad. And I think that's a very difficult dynamic to succeed in. Houston, well, they traded everybody.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Mitchell Harding, good morning to you. He says, let Ja get his. He's the fuel, but the fuel runs out eventually. This is LA versus Mavs game. Might be a blockbuster. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am dying.
Are you
with
okay,
this.
Donnie?
No,
Donnie?
I need my Zyrtec. I need my Zyrtec, which is a message to my wife.
I want it.
Hand me some Zyrtec. This post-nasal drip is terrible.
Okay.
I get it once a year, pretty much every year, and it lasts a couple of weeks, and it's brutal.
Okay.
It is absolutely brutal, and I'm on the verge of having to slurp down some cough drops.
Doesn't make you feel responsible.
It's a little high. So you got to get that ball down into the zone.
Get it in the zone.
By the way, real quick on baseball. Today's the 5-year anniversary of Terry Collins melting down. Hey, our ass is in the jackpot here, Terry.
I don't give a baker's fuck.
Yeah, he didn't give a baker's. Get on my Twitter feed, The Monty Show, Monty, The Monty Show. Watch Terry Collins melt down when Syndergaard threw at the Dodgers. Amazing. But also Brett Gardner slamming the bat against the roof at Yankee Stadium. And Aaron Boone talking about how his guys are savages in the box.
Yes. All-time great moment, man.
Oh, my God. It is so, so good. So good. I love baseball.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing like, and I'd be curious,
Is anybody here a baseball fan?
Yeah, how many baseball people do we have? I mean, in my opinion, there's not a lot of things better than, middle of the summer, Yankee baseball, AL East baseball, and there's something on the line. I think that's hard to beat. Now, I know it's not the NFL, I know it's not the NBA, but I'm just saying, when we're in that period of the year, there's not a lot of things I enjoy more than watching Brett Gardner get rung up on a clearly not a strike pitch.
You ready?
Yeah.
Wait. Let me move my microphone. Here's Brett. Like Brett Gardner is like, and the umpire comes over and he's like, I mean, it's just the greatest video ever. It is. But who's your baseball team? Hit us on the YouTube comments. Who's your baseball team? Then hit subscribe. By the way, please give us a thumbs up on this show. We really appreciate it. James Knight says, Jake, give me a rack attack.
You need a rack attack.
He needs a rack attack. There it is, James. Welcome to the show. Jackson Andrasco says Yankees.
Yeah.
Blakemu. Okay.
Okay.
All right, cool. Giggity says, how about the brain fart of a play by the Pirates yesterday?
Whoever came up with that shit need to be fired.
Okay, now, by the way, By the way, and I just want to clarify this, my number one team is the Chicago Cubs, by far, not close. Grew up, this guy right here, Michael Jordan, tells you my Chicago fandom. But if you look on the shelf behind me, I've got like the skull, like I've got a Chris Bryant autographed hat. Some dude walked up to us at LA Fitness one day and just handed us just handed us a Chris Bryant autographed Chicago
straight
Cub
up.
hat.
It was bagged. Like, where is that?
It's right here.
Is it?
Yeah, it's right here.
Oh, yeah. So he comes up to us. We were wearing, I can't remember what we were wearing.
Cubs hats.
Oh, we were wearing Cubs hats. And then he was like, hey, bro, in my trunk. And this is South Phoenix, which for all of you folks in Phoenix to know that's like the hood. It's not a great place. So, you're in the gym and someone walks up to you and they're like, hey, bro, I seen you wearing Cubs hat. You want to sign KB hat? Sure. And I was like, all right, like, we might die right here.
This guy's not giving us a
Yeah,
Cub.
I mean, we might die right here.
He walked in and gave us an autographed Cubs hat. It was amazing.
Like, okay.
But my two baseball teams are the Cubs by far, and then the San Diego Padres, number 2. And I look at that play yesterday with Javier Baez. It's why bad teams are bad.
Yeah.
Because there's 2 outs, a runner on third. Javier Baez hits a ground ball to third. The guy throws it across the diamond a little wide. First baseman catches it, and Javier Baez stops on the baseline because why would you run hard? And then starts backpedaling towards home plate. The runner from third comes home. The first baseman, instead of just going to the bag and stepping on the base and ending the inning, chases Javi to the plate, then throws the ball to the catcher. No, they did not tag the guy out at the plate. He's safe. Then the catcher throws the ball to first. It gets away, so Javi's safe at first, runs to second, and all the while there's 2 outs. The run scores. And all the guy had to do was step on first base.
I hit dingers.
Amazing. Amazing. Gabe Ledley says, here for all the baseball. We're doing the SoCal baseball swing this summer. Padres, Angels, Dodgers.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that's such a good
yeah.
trip. Gabe, I mean, and for all of you who don't know, Gabe Ledley is a great Phoenician. His kid is a baseball all-world all-star. His wife has a great Twitter account. And I can't remember the name of it. I'll look it up real quick. But his wife, or an Instagram account that just chronicles baseball, really. az.baseballmom. And I'm telling you, you guys are such a good baseball family. When you're now, Dodger Stadium, I'd bring a bulletproof vest. I've been there thousands of times. I'm not a huge Dodger Stadium fan. But when you're sitting in San Diego or Anaheim, just take a minute to enjoy it. Take it in. In San Diego, the view, no matter where you sit, is amazing. And it just hits you that you're right on the water. You're in downtown San Diego. You can smell the ballpark, the sea breeze, the peanuts. It is second only to Oracle Park in San Francisco.
What's an erection?
I mean, it is just purely
amazing.
Awesomeness at San Diego. Anaheim, it's kind of a cookie cutter old world stadium. They put some rocks in center field. You're not going to see Mike Trout.
They put some rocks in center field.
They did.
That makes it special.
It's not. And, and Dodger Stadium is a really special place to me.
Yeah.
It's really the first place me and Mrs. Monty went on a date all those years ago. By the way, our 20th wedding anniversary is coming up.
Damn.
It's less than a month away that we'll be married 20 years.
Have you told the story about how you guys, quote unquote, met?
Yeah, accidentally on AOL through an instant message.
Yeah, bro.
Like, it was a legit accident. I'll tell it sometime. Anyway, but I think our first real date going and doing something was at a Dodger game.
Yeah.
And it's a really special stadium. Like Dodger Stadium, I have great memories being there. Like Eduardo Perez when he was still a player.
Yeah.
Kevin Malone when he was the general manager. I got to know Kevin in my media career really well. At one point I would have called Kevin Malone a friend. Now he's in the car industry, if memory serves. Dodger Stadium's just a really special stadium. But the fans, especially in the bleachers, it has become not a pleasant place. Now, if you sit on the infield or if you sit in club seats, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And just absorb the sunset at Dodger Stadium. It's San Diego. Take all the feel all the feels.
Yeah, you got to walk the whole park. Like you got all of it.
That's just such a great trip. It is, and I would tell you other crown jewels in baseball. Obviously, you got to go to Wrigley Field. You got to go to Yankee Stadium, which next summer we're going to do that.
Yeah. Fenway.
I'm not a Fenway guy.
Well, I've never been, and I'm definitely going.
Well, if you've never been, you should go. But baseball palaces, Oracle Park, Wrigley Field, Safeco in Seattle is a great place to watch a ball game.
Yeah.
There are just some real
Chase Field in Phoenix.
Anyway, my point is, Philly's a great place to watch a game. It's right down the street from the Link. There's just some real baseball palaces.
Yeah.
And anyway. Point is, Cody Strickland says, who's on first, what's on second? I don't know on third.
Luca's mom.
There you go. Stanek Daniel says, hey, guys, how are the ratings? For what? The ratings for what?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Gabe Levely says, I read that one already. Hey, how about Aaron Rodgers chilling in Hawaii while the Packers practice?
Hey, man.
He's not playing for the Packers anymore. I don't know how many times I can say this. By the way, that BS that Sterling Sharp put on Julio Jones the other day.
Yeah.
What a dick. And if you didn't see it, Sterling Sharp calls Julio Jones. They have
Shannon
Sharp, excuse. I said Sterling. You don't even know who Sterling Sharp is.
Nope.
Shannon's brother, who was an NFL tight end. Shannon Sharp calls Julio Jones.
Yeah.
On TV. They put him on TV and don't tell him he's on TV, and he essentially rips the Atlanta Falcons live on TV.
And it says he's never playing there again.
It was kind of ridiculous. All right. James Jensen says, I can't see the Jazz losing anymore. Games against the Grizzlies. Okay, I agree with that. Driftwood is sleeping. He puts the emoji with the Z's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Bro, I wish I was sleeping.
I wish I was sleeping,
Man.
too. 24 hours
Last night was one of those nights where I went to sleep, and then I felt like I slept for 5 minutes, and it was time to wake up.
You know what the worst part of last night was? I was cold all night and didn't put the blanket on. I don't know why. And then I get up at 4:45 every day. I woke up at 4:20 and had to pee. It's the worst thing in the world.
Dude.
Let's talk about fans in the NBA.
Yeah.
Because I think this is a really important discussion in all seriousness. You know that there was the incident with Russ in Philly the other night where the fan poured popcorn on his head. Well, now yesterday we find out that 3 fans have been indefinitely banned from the Vivid Arena, for racially abusing Ja Morant's father during Game 2. This really is a problem for me. I'm an ardent defender of Salt Lake City. I love living here. I can live anywhere in the world I want. I chose to move back to Salt Lake. I passionately believe in our community. This is an abomination by Jazz fans. Here's the problem. This is not the first time that Jazz fans have been accused of racially abusing people. And you had guys sitting around Ja Morant's dad that got it right. You had them buying Ja Morant's dad a beer. Ja Morant bought them beer. Ja Morant's dad bought them beer. Like, it was this whole thing. It was exactly how it was supposed to go. And then you find out that fans were insulting him and throwing racial bombs at Ja Morant's dad. And it perpetuates the stereotype that Utahns and those of us that live here in Utah and Salt Lake City are bigots who racially abuse black people and minorities.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, that's just not the facts. There is, in my opinion, and we may disagree on this, in my opinion, I think it's no more racist in Utah than it is anywhere else. And Utah has this stigma about it and a reputation of being, that lily white state of Utah. When, that might be true, but we're a great place to live with a lot of great people. But nobody will talk about the 2 guys, the brothers that bought Ja Morant's dad beer.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the 3 fans who got banned for racially abusing him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we've lived in a lot of places, frankly. I mean, you want to talk about Southern California, Bay Area, Chicago, St. Louis, like a lot of different places. And I think that Salt Lake, yes, is not as diverse as a lot of other places. To say that it is a racist place is definitely not true. I just think that, fans get comfortable. Fans, and I think this is kind of what Westbrook was alluding to in the post-game interview. Fans think that they can do whatever they want to do, and that's just not the case. I mean, just because you bought a ticket doesn't give you reign to just do whatever.
That's exactly right.
I don't understand these people who are like, hey, I bought a ticket, I have every right to be here, and yeah, I can racially abuse you. No, you can't.
No, actually, you can't.
And for everybody, I had a Twitter discussion with some listeners yesterday who were like, well, they banned him. What's the issue? Well, how are you going to ban somebody? Legit. Like, how are you going to say to Jimmy and Steve, who racially abused Ja's dad, that they're never able to get back in? Because I got news for you. They're going to get back in. That's just how it is. And so I think I'm not saying the Jazz are letting us down, but what I am saying is that there's really no way for any NBA organization to do anything about this. You can say, hey, they're banned and they're never coming back, blah, blah, blah. But the fact of the matter is, if you ban me, he's still going to buy tickets, and then I'm going to go on his tickets. Like, it's that simple.
Yeah.
So I don't know truly how you solve this problem.
I don't think there's any way to ban a fan from an arena. You're not going to employ facial recognition software.
Facial rec!
You're just not going to do that. You're not going to sell them, tickets by name, but that doesn't mean they're not going to be in the building. There's not a good solution for this. I think the solution is to do what they do in the UK, which is make it a crime to use the N-word.
Yeah.
I think it's the only way that you can do this. I just think that, I read the comments on this, and it's, it's unfortunate because, Brylark says it's not a secret that we have a pretty racist underbelly in Utah. I don't know. I don't experience that. Is historically that true? Yeah, there's some not so kind history there. There's some incidents there for sure.
I think, with all due respect, it's not whether you and I experience it. We're, white folks living in South Jordan.
Right. I mean, in general, when you are amongst racists, you hear certain types of language. Whether there are, minorities, Latinos, Asians in this country have taken a real difficult turn.
Yeah.
As far as the way that we have treated Asians in this country. Obviously, the black community has a lot of challenges in this light. But when you're around a lot of racists, you tend to hear that language. I don't hear that language. I don't see that action. I don't see, hey, look at that black guy over there. Like a bunch of white people. I don't see that. And maybe, obviously I don't experience it because, well, you're right. I live in South Jordan. I'm white. We get it. But at games, I've never seen that one time.
Yeah.
I've heard a little bit of it at a couple of football games. I've been to how many Jazz games? Yeah. I've never seen it. Never. The Westbrook incident, this Ja Morant incident, it's frustrating.
I think, here's what I would say. I think that we can't allow one-off instances to turn the narrative into Utah as a racist state. However, I do agree that there is a conversation about the fact that Utah is not a very diverse place compared to other places, and I think that it's just how it is here. And I don't think that because the state is mostly white that makes it a 100% racist state. But yeah, I do think that there are. Frankly, I think there are white folks who are proud gun owners who I see driving around who I'm like, yeah, that's probably not somebody who is the most approving person ever.
Well, and we see a lot of the "Don't Tread on Me" flags and a lot of the stars and bars. We do tend to see a lot of that.
So I'm not trying to piss people off here, but I think it's not. Here's the thing. This is the last thing I'll say. It is not, hey, Utah is a white racist state. It's not that. But it's also not, hey, Utah is a really diverse place that doesn't struggle with racism. I think it's somewhere in the middle, and I think no matter where you go, there's always going to be the white guy who wants to hate on either the Asian folks or the black folks for no reason. I think that just exists in our country. I think it's always existed in our country, and I think if you're the Jazz, you've done everything that you can do here, and I think that's just where it is. I don't know what else you do.
Yep. Good morning, Jeremy Bolton. He says, like, how in the hell does that stuff still happen and exist? And those three fans are clowns.
Yeah,
Sure.
you know.
Bradlark says, I think if you get banned from one arena for improper behavior, the NBA should ban you from all 30 arenas. But how do you implement that?
That's the thing. I would love for there to be a way to actually implement it. You know, like,
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
I don't think you
Or
can.
enforce it is really the word.
Giggity says, Jazz fans using that language, somebody needs some more Joseph in their lives. Ooh.
And I think, we're not going down that road.
No.
we're not doing
Brylark says it's not a secret. Or no, I read that already. My apologies. Why does that keep showing up? Mirzinski says the fans have been acting crazier since everything is opened up again. It's got to stop. I would agree. I would agree.
There is and I was talking to a business owner yesterday at the Yelpatory who was kind of talking to me about this, that there's sort of like this crazy going on right now.
It's an odd energy.
Like, yeah, it's like a weird thing that's happening. Like, everything's opening up, so everyone's like, it's like this mad rush, and it's just like done something weird to people. And I'm curious how long that lasts.
John Mulvaney says T said good things about the guys around him, just those three jerks. Yeah, like, it was a great back and forth.
Yeah.
It was light spirited in my opinion.